Alright guys, welcome to another week of Prep, Cook, Play, and Repeat. My name is Chef Joe. I hope you guys have a great Easter last weekend. This is another episode this week. We're going to be making gnocchi. We're going to be making gnocchi Bolognese. We're going to be making the gnocchi. We're going to teach you how to make it instead of going to the store and buying it. It's a super easy recipe that I learned many years ago, and I'm going to teach you guys. So we'll be right back to make this beautiful gnocchi. Alright, so now the first thing you want to do is you want to buy some potatoes. You can buy an Idaho potato, you can buy a Yukon Gold potato, which is fine. It's totally up to you. Here we have a Idaho potato. You're going to want to wash the skin off, and you're going to throw it in a 350 degrees oven for 1 hour until it's fork tender. So you could poke a hole through this with a fork. So, just like that. That's what you want to see. The fork breaks the skin very easily, right? Once the hour has passed, you're going to take very carefully, because these babies are piping hot. You're going to take a knife, carefully, you're going to make an incision right down the middle of it. You're going to open it up, just like that. Right? You're going to see that steam, be careful, that stuff is hot. Right? Take a spoon, and you're going to want to start scooping the flesh from the potato inside into a bowl. That's your first step. So we have 3 potatoes here. We're going to scoop all the potatoes out, right? Once you're done with that, once we're done scooping all this flesh out, we're going to be right back to show you the next step. Alright, so now that your potatoes, you take the flesh out of the potatoes, the inside of it, discard the flesh and everything else, you just want the meat inside of it, correct? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to get yourself a food mill, some sort of mill, because you want to be able to put the potato in here. And then you want to go like this, and it's gonna, from the bottom is gonna come out all the potatoes. The reason we do that is to aerate it. You want a fluffy gnocchi. If you were to take the potato and mash it with a masher or a whisk, it's gonna become dense, it's gonna become heavy, and you're gonna get that feeling when you're eating it. The potatoes are gonna be at the bottom of your stomach, and you're gonna feel super full. That's why you want a food mill to aerate the potato. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put the potato in here. And we're gonna show you how it's done. So, take your potato, put it into your food mill, a little bit at a time. You don't want to break the food mill, right? Like that. With a bowl underneath it, you're going to start to press everything. So it's just squishing it. That's going to come out very slow, which is fine. So you want to keep squishing it, you want to keep squishing it. You just keep adding, as you can see. A little bit is falling from underneath. It's a process. It's a little tedious, but this is the best way to make gnocchi, I'm telling you. So what we're doing is we're going to put a little bit more in there. Okay. A little bit more. I'm just going to keep going on just like that. Hold it here by the handle, because this stuff, that potato is hot inside, so you don't want to get yourself. As you can see, the potato is falling from underneath. Almost looks like dust. That's what you want. And keep doing that until all the potatoes are gone. Once we've milled all this, we'll be right back to show you what goes inside of the potatoes. Alright, so now once your potatoes are all milled, and they look like that, right? Pillowy gnocchi right there. So that's the potatoes right there. So next thing you're going to do is you're going to take 3 eggs. Why we're using 3 eggs? Because we use 3 Idaho potatoes. 1 egg per every potato. Crack your egg, yolk, everything you want in there. You want the entire egg in there. Crack into a bowl, right? Make sure you get no shells in there, okay? Next thing you're going to do is you're going to add half a cup of Parmesan cheese, Reggiano. It can be Pecorino, whatever your favorite cheese is. But you want to use regular Parmesan. Just gonna throw that in there. Throw it right in there. Get everything in there. Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna whisk up this little thing that we have over here with eggs and Parmesan cheese. It's a little batter-like almost. Get that. And just whisk that up real nice. You want to break the albumin. What the albumin is the egg white. That's a fancy word for egg white. It's albumin. So you want to break that up really well. Whisk that up. Alright. Once that's all broken up, take your mixture and throw it right into your potato mix. Alright? Right in that mix. Okay. Using a fork, once you start putting all that together, mix all that gnocchi, mix all that potato with that egg, that parmesan in there. Alright? All that beautifulness. Mix it up real well. Let that incorporate. Okay. Once that's really well incorporated, next thing you want to do is you want to add 2 pinches of salt. And then 1 small pinch of fresh cracked black pepper. Just like that. Alright? Get your fork, mix that up again. Now the next and final step we're going to do is we're going to add more flour. Right here I have about half a cup of flour. The flour to potato ratio solely depends on, there's a couple variables. It could be humidity in your house. If you're in a 2-apartment, 3-apartment building, the humidity, the heat is higher up there. So your dough is going to react differently to where if you were 1st floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor, if it's snowing outside, if it's raining outside, or whatever it may be. So your flour you're going to add as you need. So we're going to add a little bit of this first. And then the fun part is we're going to go in there with our hand and start to knead this together. Start to put this together. As you can see, it's still kind of loose, so we're going to add more flour. Whatever left is in there. So the dough is still a little too wet, so we're going to add more flour. So we'll be right back. Alright, so now that, so we added a total of 1.5 cups of flour. It is a little hotter today. It's pretty humid over here today. So you want your dough to peel away from the sides of the bowl. You don't want it to stick. You want your dough to keep its shape. Final thing you're going to do once you add your flour is you're going to add a little bit of olive oil. Just like that. You just knead that, just a little bit. You don't want to over knead it. You want to, just like that. Once that's done, put it on our cutting board. We'll be right back. We're going to roll these out. We're going to show you how to make some really, really nice gnocchis. Alright, so now that you have your dough, the next thing you want to do is you want to flour your board a little bit. Right? Flour your board. You're going to take your knife, or if you have a bench scraper, or I would suggest a knife, serrated knife, regular knife. You're going to cut a little piece of gnocchi, about yay big, right? You're going to roll it here, get a little flour going. Form it into a cylinder and start rolling with your hands, evenly distributing all this dough throughout, right? That's how you want to start doing it. If you see that a spot is thicker than another spot, start just concentrate on that spot and start rolling it out that way. If it's too thick here, start rolling it out that way, right? So just keep rolling that, keep rolling. Keep rolling it until you got the desired length that you want. And this is what about the size that you want right here to make nice gnocchis, right here. So once you're done doing that, we're going to cut the end, and we're going to cut about a thumb size of gnocchi. And using your knife, cut about a thumb size of it. Just like that, right? Okay. Next to you, you should have a pan, some sort of cookie pan or whatever it is, dusted with flour. and dust a little bit more flour on top of these gnocchis. The reason we do that is so it doesn't stick. Now the nice part about this is that you can make this in advance, the day before, 2 days before, a week before, and just keep it in your freezer and it would hold. As long as you have it on a pan that has a little bit of flour, and make sure you cover it with some cling wrap, plastic wrap, so it doesn't dry out on you in the freezer. But this can be made up to a day, a few days prior. So I'm just gonna grab another piece, again, just so you guys can see, the same exact way. Just roll that out. Roll it out, evenly distributing all that. Okay. Same thing, thumb's width, and just keep cutting. Now some people like to cut it and roll it on the back of a fork, which I'll show you. I'm not a big fan of that. People can do that. Take your fork, people take the dough, and they just roll it. They roll it like that, and that's what you get. Just like that. So it has the imprint of the fork in there. Right, some people do that. You can do that. You can do whichever design you like. I just like a basic standard gnocchi just like that. Alright, so we're gonna roll these out and we'll be right back, and we're gonna get to the bolognese part. The fun part, the beautiful rich sauce that's gonna accompany these, that these are gonna swim in. They're gonna swim in bolognese. So we'll be right back. Alright, so now next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make our bolognese. I got 2 tablespoons of really good extra virgin olive oil in there. I got this bad boy blasting hot. So first thing I wanna do is I got 3 garlic cloves in here, just chopped. So we're gonna add those in there. We're gonna sweat out the garlic cloves in that olive oil. Sweat them out. We're gonna do that for about a minute. We wanna flavor that oil with garlic. Right. So as that's going, we're gonna add some basil. Whole basil is fine. You can tear it. You can do whatever you like. I'm just gonna tear it and throw it right in there whole. Oh, that's what you want to hear right there. That popping. Be careful, don't burn yourself, alright? That's what you want right there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 1 entire white onion diced. Throw that in there. We're going to saute this for about 2-3 minutes. We're going to lower the flame down, and we're going to saute this, and then we're going to be right back. Alright, so now that our garlic and onions are starting to take on some color, our basil's nice, everything's nice in there, smells fragrant, aromatic. The house is starting to smell like garlic and onions and oil and all that good stuff. You're going to take about 1 pound of ground beef. This is 80-20. For those of you who don't know what 80-20 means, 80% lean beef, 20% fat. If you want more lean, you can do 90-10. You can do 90% beef, 10% fat. I even saw out there 93% beef, 7% fat. It's totally up to you. I wouldn't do 70-30. You don't want 70-30 because that's too much fat. And you're gonna have a bunch of oils at the top of your sauce when you're done cooking. You do not want that. So stick with the 80-20 is perfect. We got about 1 pound here. Go right in there. You're gonna brown this for about 5 minutes so that beef is really browned. And then we're gonna add our tomato paste and we're gonna add some red wine. So we'll be right back. Alright, so now 5 minutes has passed. The oils, the fats from the beef is starting to be released. You want to throw a nice heaping tablespoon of tomato paste. Throw your tomato paste in there. You want to cook this, you want to cook that rawness from the tomato paste. You want to cook it for about 2-3 minutes. After those 2-3 minutes pass, we're going to add half a cup of red wine. It could be Cabernet, it could be Merlot, it could be your favorite red wine. Something a little drier would be better for this. We're going to let this cook out, and then we're going to add our wine. Alright, so now that your tomato paste is cooked, To cook that rawness out of it, we're gonna add some red wine. Here I have some Cabernet Sauvignon. Let that cook with the beef. Let that liquid dissolve. You want the meat and the onions and garlic to absorb all that flavor. So give that a few minutes to really absorb and really cook out the alcohol in there. Alright, so now once your wine is cooked out, the alcohol is cooked out, and now it's in the beef, we're going to add about half a cup of heavy cream. Put that heavy cream right in there and mix that up. So I'm mixing that up. We want to let that cream, all that, start to come to bubble. See how it's starting to come to a bubble already? That's perfect. So keep it there. We're going to add a nice pinch of salt. And we're going to add a nice pinch of black pepper. There you go. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to add about half a cup of tomatoes. Canned crushed tomatoes is fine. Pomodoro is fine. It's totally up to you what you want to use. Put that right in there. Just let that start to cook all together. Now at this point is where we lower our flame. Lower your flame to a low heat, because you want this to kind of stew away and cook away. If you see your sauce is a little too thick, you can add a little bit of water and then recheck for seasoning. So you want to let this cook for a good 20 to 25 minutes on the stove on low flame. Once this is cooked, we'll be right back. While on the last about 5 minutes that this has left, you want to dump your gnocchis into a boiling pot of water. We're going to show you that step next, right when we get back. Alright, so now that you have about 5 minutes left on your sauce, the next thing you're going to do is you want to cook that beautiful gnocchi that you rolled, right? So we're going to take your gnocchi, little by little, and pour it right into boiling water. Please make sure the water is boiling. You don't want the gnocchi just to sit in there. So we grab a little spoon, a fork, so gently mix your gnocchi around so it's not all stuck to each other. And you're going to cook this for a few minutes. It's different. This is fresh pasta. It's not store-bought pasta where it takes about 13 minutes to cook. This is going to cook in about 4 to 5 minutes. Once the gnocchis float to the top, it is done. Take them out. Once they're done, scoop them out, put them to the side, and then we're going to toss it with the sauce. We're going to make it swim real nice. So we'll be right back. Alright, so now once your gnocchi has floated to the top, you're going to take a pasta strainer. You're going to strain out that water. Right, strain it out. Have a pot ready and dump into your pot with some sauce. You should grab all the gnocchis. Any guys are floating around there or in the bottom, grab them right into there. Alright, now there you go, your gnocchi's perfect. Alright, so now that your gnocchi's in the pan, you're going to cook it a little bit with this. What we're going to do is we're going to finish it. So I added a little bit of butter, and I'm going to add it a little bit of a wedge of Parmesan Reggiano right here. I got a little zester here, and you can use already grated. Totally up to you what you want to do, but this is called finishing. So we're finishing our pasta dish with a little bit of butter. That technique is called monter beurre, the French say, which means mount butter. You're mounting it into the sauce, slowly melting it. So we're going to mix this up. We're going to mix that beautiful cheese up. You can probably cook this for a few more minutes so the gnocchi grabs the flavor of the meat sauce, of the bolognese, and you're also melting your butter. That looks delicious. It smells unbelievable. The smell coming off of this is amazing. It's tremendous. So we're going to let this cook, like I said, for a few minutes, and we'll be right back to plate this bad boy up. Alright, so now that your sauce is done, your bolognese is done, your gnocchi is done, now you cook the gnocchi and the bolognese pasta. I'm sorry, the bolognese sauce, you let that come together. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to plate and we're going to finish it one more time. Right? So what you're going to do next is going to take your beautiful pasta, and going to plate it spoon by spoon. Don't dump it into there. This is one of the best parts about cooking. Is you get to plate it, you get to put it on the plates and make it look beautiful. The plate's your canvas if you're a painter, right? Everything else is your tools. So we're building our canvas, we're building our plate. Now the amount of sauce I put on here is totally up to you. I like to put enough just to coat the pasta and there being a little bit extra. If you like it saucy, it's totally up to you. So we'll do that. Get the rest of this beautiful sauce. Boom. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to finish it with a little bit more cheese. You can never have enough cheese. Alright? That's real nice right there. Good amount of dusting of cheese. Okay. And then for a little bit of freshness, I'm going to take some basil leaf and just tear them. Just tear them up. You don't have to cut them. You can do it by hand. It's fine. If you don't like basil, you don't have to put this part. It's totally optional. I like a little basil for freshness. And there you have it. Gnocchi Bolognese, guys. Alright guys, so thank you for watching this week's episode of Prep, Cook, Play, and Repeat, Gnocchi Bolognese. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram and YouTube. Comment on the section down below in the video if you'd like to see something, if there's something you liked in the video, if you want to see something in the next week's video. But we'll be back next week with a new edition. We'll see you soon.